we believe in what? Divine decree, predestination. Khairihi wa sharrihi. The good and the evil of it. The good and the bad of it. وَهُوَ تَقْدِيرُ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى. What is this? وَهُوَ تَقْدِيرُ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى لِلْكَائِنَاتِ حَسْبُ مَا سَبَقَ بِهِ إِلْمُهُ وَاقْتَدَتْهُ حِكْمَتُهُ. We believe in divine decree. We believe in divine decree. Al-Qadr. That is divine decree. It's good and evil consequences. That is the best way to explain it. It's good and evil consequences. Khairihi wa sharrihi. The good consequences of divine decree, the evil consequences of it. And what is this? وَهُوَ تَقْدِيرُ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى لِلْكَائِنَاتِ. This is what Allah has predetermined for His creations according to His prior knowledge. حَسْبُ مَا سَبَقَ بِهِ إِلْمُهُ. According to His prior knowledge. Allah has prior knowledge before the occurrence of everything. And according to what His wisdom necessitates. It is consistent with divine wisdom. Which means there are things that will happen and you will be begging for an answer. But because it has been necessitated by divine wisdom, it's not necessarily for you to even understand the wisdom behind it. Like you having a lot of kids being bombed in Syria. You have a lot of kids being bombed in Syria. You have a lot of people going, days in hunger in Yemen. And these are people that worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have innocent, defenseless people being killed. Bombs being dropped on them. You have people suffering every now and then. They pray to Allah and they have the most difficult life. Now, hasbu ma sabaqa bihi ilmuhu. This is what, the knowledge of Allah, the prior knowledge of Allah and the divine knowledge, divine wisdom necessitated that to happen. Whether you understand it, because at the end of the day it is good. You might not know it. Things have happened to us in lives that introduce us to what? The good side of life. I was once involved in an accident. But before I left the accident scene, it introduced me to something that I believed was the good side of it. Do you understand? So instead of looking at the accident as a negative thing, instantly, for some people, you will never get to see the positive side of what has happened to you that is apparently negative till the day of Qiyamah. But for some people, you see it instantly. At least for once in my life, I've seen that. I was involved in an accident, but I came out smiling. Why? Because I saw positive consequences of that. I hope I'm making sense here. So, whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has decreed, something has preceded that decree. The divine knowledge, the prior knowledge, and wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala necessitating that decree. Which means, if we understand these two fundamentals, whatever happens in our lives, we know that it has been preceded by divine knowledge and divine wisdom. Two things, divine knowledge and divine wisdom. So whether it makes sense to us or not, divine knowledge is absolute. Divine wisdom is absolute. Now, but there are two things you need to understand here also. You're online. Send me the link. There are two things. You have sent it? Okay. There are two things you need to understand here also. Sorry for this short interjection. Qadar means predestination. Sorry, I'm sending the link out for people to join live. Qadar means divine will. Qadar means divine predestination. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has decreed. The first one is the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, al-qadar. The other one you have divine predestination. Now the question is it directly related to our day-to-day activities? Or is it an obscure topic, like Al-Ashqars asked? Is it an obscure topic best left to the debates of philosophies, of philosophers and theologians? Or does it affect us as Muslims in our day-to-day engagement? Or is it something that we don't need to discuss it? It's something for theologians, and for philosophers? Or is it for you, an ordinary Muslim, to discuss also? I'm asking. It is for us Muslims, because every day our Walaikum salam, whatever we do is being guided by this divine predestination. This is distracting us, please. Let me just send it quickly. Okay, Khalid, I think you can help me with this. Too late. Within the 2 minutes. You see, this thing that is happening now has been predestined. I was asking this question. Attitudes towards divine will and predestination have always influenced Muslims' daily activities. Our attitude towards it. It has been the brain behind a Muslim's daily activity. How you go about your daily activity. That's how important belief in Qadar is. Because your daily activity is being influenced by your belief in Qadar. Am I communicating? And also the idea, we're going to discuss four cardinal principles, 4 things that you find under belief in Qadar, which Sheikh has made mention of. But the idea that everything is maktub, written, isn't it? Everything is written, maktub. All this drama that you're doing, it will not change it if Allah has written it to happen. But if it has not been written to happen, all this, your drama will not change anything. Maktub, because it is maktub, written. Am I communicating? Written. Now, that now opened up a door for the non-Muslims to create doubts in the minds of Muslims. They now say this idea of fatalism. Who has heard of fatalism before? Fatalism, that everything has been predestined. You have no control over everything. Fatalism. So they push this idea that Muslims are fatalists. You don't have control. You have been caged, isn't it? Because you believe that Allah has predetermined everything. That we are helpless in the hands of indifferent fates. We are helpless If Allah has decreed that you are not going to have this thing, no matter how much you try hard, you're not going to have it. So they call us fatalists. And because of this doubt, the Muslim Ummah, large number of the Muslim Ummah have been swayed. This fatalism, Sheikh Al-Askar, he said, has paralyzed the Ummah and given its enemies power over it. Because how can I be helpless? You're telling me that Allah has predetermined everything. And I'm striving to attain something. But you're telling me that, well, no matter how much I strive, it is what Allah has determined that will happen. So it weakens the resolve of the Muslims if they don't believe in wahy. And that is why it is called what? An article of faith. Because it necessitates you believing in it inwardly. Inwardly, because you are believing in something that you don't even know. You know, the scholar said, we don't know what destiny is. What our destiny is until it has happened. Isn't it? Do you know whether you're going to marry someone or not? Unless it has happened. Do you know whether you're going to have degree or not? Unless the first class or second class, you strive to have first class. But you wouldn't know until the final hour when the results are out. Am I communicating? So you cannot, this is a refutation against those people that say, the Jabariya, the Jahmiya, that say you should not be held responsible for what you do because you are not responsible for it. Allah has predetermined it. But the question is, do you know what Allah has predetermined? Do I know what is going to happen to me now if I go out? Until it happens. Until it happens. Am I communicating? I hope I'm laying good foundation for this. All right. The true Islamic concept of al-qada wal-qadar, that is divine will and predestination, is an empowering notion. It empowers us, as against it being something that is used to be used against us. It empowers us, isn't it? Whilst all that happens takes place within the framework of the divine will, man has ikhtiyar, mukhtar. Man has ikhtiyar, that is free will, the freedom of choice within those parameters. Okay, I've stood up. Why didn't you stand up? Because I've chosen, I have the freedom to stand up, the choice, the free will to decide whether I want to stand or not. Now that I've decided to stand up, now there is another thing. That is why we say within those parameters. What is the next thing? The ability, qudra. Now I'm able to stand up. If I was paraplegic, I wouldn't have been able to stand up swiftly. Am I communicating? If I was paraplegic. But now that I have made the intention, free will, now I've now decided also to sit down, and I have the ability to do so, then I'm sitting down. Then now that I've sat down, I can now tell you that Allah has decreed that I will stand up and sit down at this particular moment. But prior to now, wallahi, 2 minutes ago, I didn't know I was going to stand up. Wallahi al-azim. I swear to Allah that created me. Wallahi, I didn't know I was going to stand up and sit down to demonstrate this. But now that it has happened, I now know for sure that Allah has written it. Does this make sense? Now for sure, I know Allah has written it. 2 minutes prior to now, wallahi, I didn't know it was going to happen. This is how divine decree plays out. Now you have free will, freedom to do what you want to do. Then the ability has been given to you also. Am I communicating? Excellent. Now, Ibn al-Qayyim in his kitab Shifa'ul Alil fi Masail al-Qada wal-Qadar wal-Hikmah wal-Ta'lil, Ibn al-Qayyim, he said the majority of intelligent people, listen to what Ibn al-Qayyim said, the majority of intelligent people, when discussing this topic of predestination, have dealt with it from every angle and have pursued every route a narrow path, and they have spoken of it in both the most sophisticated of terms and the simplest of terms. They have aimed to attain knowledge of it and to understand its essence. They have aimed also, the nations of ancient and recent times have discussed this matter and have striven hard to reach an understanding of it. This is a very daunting task upon people, this issue of predestination. Nations past and present, all of the various sects, despite their differences, have discussed this matter. All of the various sects, despite their differences, they have discussed this matter. Authors have written books of different types. There is no one who is not thinking of this topic and trying to reach an understanding of its essential nature, but you see them hesitant and confused. Am I communicating? Ibn Qayyim is making absolute sense here, isn't it? Or debating with others, each of them has chosen his own opinion and does not think that anyone else's view can be correct, nor will he accept anyone else's opinion. This is what we have found ourselves in regarding this issue. He continues, all of them, all of the various sects discussing this issue, apart from those who adhere to the Wahy revelation, that is the Ahlussunah or Jama, may Allah make us among them. Apart from the, now he's discussing people that have held on to philosophy, people that have held on to theology, only, you know, and have relegated revelation to the tail end. They have been left confused at the end of their debates. You'll never see them discussing the issue, but at the end of the day, you go out more confused when people start debating the issue of Qadr, isn't it? It causes more confusion. The only way you can avert confusion and to understand this, and why, inshallah, we're going to, in our subsequent lessons, at the end part of it, we're going to discuss the benefits of our belief in Qadr, so that you know why do we have to believe in Qadr. There are a lot of benefits, which we're going to discuss at the last part of the, you know, the topic, inshallah. He said, all of them, apart from those who have adhered to the Wahy, have turned away from the right path, and the door to guidance is close to them. All of them, except those people that stuck to revelation. But all of them have deviated, except those people that held on to revelation. He said, they have striven to no avail, seeking to quench their thirst with dirty water. They have looked at different opinions and selected the cheapest. You know, if you want to be a good writer, and if you want to be a good teacher, and if you want to be an orator, explaining things in details so that people will understand, study the works of Ibn Taymiyyah and his student Ibn Qayyim. Look at how Ibn Qayyim is explaining. He learned it from the best. He learned it from his scholar, Ibn Taymiyyah. You know, if you take Ibn Qayyim's work, you wouldn't know the difference between his work and the work of his teacher, because of stark and reality, the similarity. He left and joined him in the prison. Not that he was imprisoned, his scholar was imprisoned. He had to join him in prison just to continue learning. That was Ibn Qayyim. He said, they have looked at different opinions and selected the cheapest. Each of them rejoices in the knowledge that he has, which does not benefit him in any way. They have given priority to opinions. They've given priority to opinions which they think are good over the revelation which has been revealed and the ahadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The blind are leading the blind. Am I communicating? Now, this is Ibn Qayyim's work. So, belief in Qadr. I want to lay this foundation so that next week we can read what Sheikh has written. Belief in Qadr, predestination, isn't it? It's one of the basic principles of Iman. How did we know this? Who can tell us? It's one of the asl from the usul of the Aqeedah of Ahlussunah wal Jama. Why? What is our dalil for this? Which hadith? Hadith of Jibril. In which kitab? 500 naira. No, not in Bukhari. Muslim. So my 500 naira is still with me. It's in Sahih Muslim. Hadith of Jibril. Sahih Muslim. Muslim narrated from whom? Muslim narrated from whom? Umar radiallahu anhu, describing how Jibril alayhi salam was questioning the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Now when it came, he said, Akhbirni anil iman. And the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam explained the 6 articles of faith. He mentioned the 6 articles of faith. From there we know that it is one of the principles of faith. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, let us introduce ourselves to Qadr in Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran chapter 54 verse 49. Quran 54, 49. 54 is which surah? Qamar. Before? Which surah is after Qamar? Which surah is after Qamar? 54. Which is 55? Ar-Rahman. You know, when I was at University of Abuja 2 weeks ago, I met one guy that actually beat me on this. I was surprised. Quran chapter 20, the guy will say it. Quran chapter 50 something, the guy will say it. I actually met my match that day. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna kulla shay'in khalaqna'u biqadar. Inna kulla shay'in khalaqnahu biqadar. Verily we have created all things with qadar, divine preordainments of all things before their creation, as written in the book of decrees, Allah al-Mahfuz. The hadith of Abdullah bin Amr bin al-As radiallahu anhuma, that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, everything has been predestined, isn't it predetermined? The first thing Allah created was the pen, not PenAbdul. Was the pen, and Allah asked the pen to write, and it said, what should it write? Allah said, write everything that is and would be till the final hour. Everything that will happen, the pen has written it. Then the Prophet ﷺ said, whatever is going to happen regarding your lives, everything has been written 50,000 years before the creation of the heavens and the earth. 50,000 years before the creation of the heavens and the earth. Someone was going to slap you. He will definitely slap you. You cannot avoid it. 50,000 years before the creation of the heavens and the earth. Allah has written. But now the beauty of it is that only Allah knows. And those whom He has informed amongst His creations. Like, you know, when your soul is going to be taken, oh, okay, I'm not wishing death upon you. When my soul is going to be taken, the angels will know before me. The angels will know before me, because the command will be given, and they will have to descend from heaven to take my soul, which means they already know what is going to happen in future regarding me living the world. And Allah taught the Prophet ﷺ regarding the events of the year after, things that will happen. And the Prophet is telling us now via revelation that this and that is going to happen. Am I communicating? Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says in Quran chapter 33, that is which chapter? 500 naira. 1, 2, 3. Quran chapter 33 before the count of 10. 1. Yeah, you have 500 naira. Quran chapter 33 verse 38. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَكَانَ أَمْرُ اللَّهِ قَدَرًا مَقْدُورًا. Maqdura. You have maf'ula, you have maqdura. In the same chapter. You have maf'ula, you have maqdura. Am I communicating? And the command of Allah is a decree determined. It is determined. That is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Hadid, Quran chapter 50. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا أَصَابَ مِن Now, what? First. Verse 38. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا أَصَابَ مِن مُصِيبَةٍ This is my favorite verse. وَمَا أَصَابَ مِن مُصِيبَةٍ فِي الْأَرْضِ Subhanallah. ما أصاب من مصيبة في الأرض ولا في أنفسكم إلا في كتاب من قبل أن نبرأها إن ذلك على الله يسير لكي لا تعسوا على ما فاتكم ولا تفرحوا بما آتاكم والله لا يحب كل مختال فخور. Allah said, whatever calamity befalls on the earth and on yourselves, it does not happen except that it has been written before its occurrence. Allah said, لِكَيْ لَا تَعْسَوْا عَلَى مَا فَاتَكُمْ So that you will not be sad over that which has missed you, nor will you rejoice. Now what is this rejoicing over what you have gotten? Everyone rejoices, isn't it? You're looking for something, when finally Allah gives it to you, you rejoice. But now this rejoicing should not make you think that it is because of your effort that you have gotten it, but because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's predetermination of it. Am I communicating? Namshi. Allah said, and the command of Allah said, decree determined. Another verse in Quran chapter 8, Suratul what? Suratul Anfal. Thank God I'm not putting a price tag on this. I would have gone on bankrupt. Quran chapter 8 verse 42, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, وَلَكِنْ لِيَقَضِيَ اللَّهُ أَمْرًا كَانَ مَفْعُولًا But you meant that Allah might accomplish a matter already ordained in His knowledge. Again, in Quran chapter 25, which is? Thank God again. Verse 2, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَخَلَقَ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ فَقَدَّرَهُ تَقْدِيرًا He has created everything and has measured it exactly according to its due measurement. Again, in Quran chapter 87, what is that chapter? I'm going to catch you now. 500 naira, Quran 87. Quran 87, before the count of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Subhanallah. Sabbih isma rabbika al-a'la. In Quran chapter 87, verses 1 to 3, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Sabbih isma rabbika al-a'la alladhi khalaqa fasawwa walladhi qaddara fahada. This is qadar that we recite every day, isn't it? Glorify the name of your Lord, the Most High, who has created everything and then proportioned it, and who has measured preordainments for everything, even to be blessed or to be wretched. The hadith of 500 naira for that, but for this hadith is 1,000 naira, so I'm parting away with 1,500. What hadith tells us? Now Allah says, وَالَّذِي قَدَّرَ فَهَدَى الَّذِي خَلَقَ فَسَوَّى وَالَّذِي قَدَّرَ فَهَدَى And who has measured preordainments for everything, even to be blessed or to be wretched. To be blessed or to be wretched, Allah has determined it. Whether you're going to be blessed or He's going to be wretched, not you, you see. Who can give me the hadith? And then Allah showed mankind the right as well as the wrong paths. Allah showed us the right as well as the wrong path and guided the animals to pasture. All this Allah has determined. But who can give me the hadith, 1,000 naira price tag? You have 500 naira. Who narrated the hadith? Who narrated the hadith? Khalid. Who narrated the hadith? Not Abu Huraira. You have 500 naira. Because when we say the hadith, you give us the hadith of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. In Arba'un al-Nawawi, hadith number 4. Allah, you know, the stages of creation, from nutfa to this to that, then At the end of the day, when the soul is breathed in, they will now write the katbi rizkihi, your wealth, the amount of billions that will enter my account has been written. The amount of food, everything. Then sa'idun, whether you're going to be fortunate or unfortunate person on the face of earth. May Allah make us among the fortunate ones. Now, it has been predetermined. But why are you striving to be among the fortunate ones? Because you don't know. Why are you praying? You don't know. But again, the beauty of it, the Prophet ﷺ said, when he was asked this question, why then do we have to pray? Why then do we have to exert efforts? When Allah has written everything, the Prophet ﷺ said, go, Allah will make easy for you that which has been written for you. So alhamdulillah, may Allah make it easy for us to worship Him. Isn't it? So when you find yourself on the right path, intensify your efforts. Because it might just be that which has been written for you. You don't know, but the Prophet ﷺ has given us a clue, isn't it? He said that which has been written for you will be made easy for you. So you just find yourself praying tahajjud, you find yourself reciting the Quran, you find yourself giving sadaqah, you find yourself worshipping Allah alone. But for the opposite, the person finds it difficult to stand up to pray, even obligatory prayers. He finds it difficult to give charity. He finds it difficult to listen to Quranic recitation or to read Quran. He finds it difficult to go to halaqat where people learn Islamic knowledge. But for you, Allah has made it easy for you. Which means the Prophet ﷺ, whoever takes the path to seek for knowledge, the path to Jannah has been made easy for it. So all these things are clues, isn't it? We're discussing qadar. So don't forget the two people that I'm giving money today. Imam Muslim narrated in Sahih Muslim that Tawus, one of the Salaf, Tawus said, I met some people from among the companions of the Messenger of Allah. Then who is Tawus? Another 500 naira. Tabi. No, everyone is answering. So the money is back to the owner. Why did you say it's a tabi'i? Because he said, I met from among the people from among the companions of the Messenger. So Tawus is a tabi'i. Who said that everything happens by qadar, which means they all were trained upon this belief. They said everything happens by qadar. Everything, wallah. Everything. That's why at the end of the day, you don't know what's going to happen. If it happens and it favors your inclination, you'll be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If it is otherwise, you are patient over it. Because you wouldn't have had it otherwise. We're only blinded for it to be always to be in favor. When someone prays and you're telling him that, no, in deze maka al-khairi, pray that it should be the al-khairi. Someone says, when you're praying and say, kasa, tazama itache al-khairin. May Allah guide us. Now, what happens again? He said, Tawus also said, I had Abdullah bin Umar. Who was Abdullah bin Umar? He said, how many ahadith did Abdullah bin Umar narrated from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? How many? It was among the seven famous narrators of hadith. How many did he narrate? And what position is he taking? I think this is, how many ahadith did he narrate? We did this thing for in this class, ma. Even the questioner has forgotten, so I need someone to verify. We did it in this class. One of the assignments I gave. So before we finish, someone should verify. You have Google. He said, I had Abdullah bin Umar say, everything happens by qadar. Even helplessness and resourcefulness. Helplessness and resourcefulness happens by qadar, predetermination. Or resourcefulness and helplessness. Imam Muslim narrated this hadith number 2655. If you find yourself being helpless, it is by predetermination. If you find yourself being very, very resourceful, predetermination. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Muslim also narrated that Abu Huraira said the mushrikeen of Quraysh came and debated about Qadr. They were debating about Qadr with the messenger of Allah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed this verse. Quran chapter 54, verses 48-49 that we referenced. يَوْمَ يُسْحَبُونَ فِي النَّارِ عَلَى وُجُوهِهِمْ ذُوقُوا مَسَّ سَقَرٍ إِنَّا كُلَّ شَيْءٍ خَلَقْنَاهُ بِقَدْرٍ. So let me give you this point. Belief in Qadr also includes belief in Allah's knowledge. Belief in Qadr includes belief in Allah's knowledge. That is what we're going to do now in our kitab quickly. How many more minutes do we have to exit this place? How many minutes have we spent? Check your, can you be able to check that? How many? 40 minutes. Can we spare the next 10 minutes? Raise hands if you want us to spend the next 10 minutes. All right. If I'm going beyond 10 minutes, stop me. Abba, are you enjoying the class? Okay, listen. Now, we said divine knowledge, belief in Qadr, also includes belief in four things. Now go back to your kitab. وَلِلْقَدَرْ أَرْبَعُ مَرَاتِبٍ وَلِلْقَدَرْ أَرْبَعُ مَرَاتِبٍ. Have you seen that on your kitab? Divine decree has 4 levels. Divine decree, you don't have the book. Please remind me next week, let me bring one for you. Maybe you go with this. Okay. You go with this. Next week, I can bring 2 for you, inshallah. Or I bring 1 and you make photocopy. I have less left. Okay, divine decree has 4 levels. Sheikh said, Walil Qadr, Sheikh Uthaymin, Walil Qadr, Arba'u Maratib. It has 4 levels. Al-Martabatul Ula. Are you reading that in your book? I think you should share. Khalid, do you have one? I'm sorry. Al-Martabatul Ula, the first level. What is the first level? Okay, want to share with that? What is the first level? Al-Ilm. Sheikh said the first level is Al-Ilm. This knowledge is known as what? Allah's knowledge. Al-Ilm. فَنُؤْمِنُ. Are you following? فَنُؤْمِنُ بِأَنَّ اللَّهَ تَعَالَى بِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ عَلِيمٍ. We believe that Allah the Exalted possesses knowledge of all things. Allah possesses knowledge of all things. That is what it means. بِأَنَّ اللَّهَ, that verily Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ta'ala means the exalted, isn't it? The exalted, that is the meaning of ta'ala, from, exalted position, isn't it? Ta'ala, the exalted. بِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ, regarding everything, alim, Allah has knowledge. What is in your heart now? Allah knows. I thought he's looking up. I don't know what he's thinking of. But Allah knows what is going on in his mind. Isn't it? Tawfiq is smiling. Allah knows what is going on in his mind. Am I communicating? For each and every person, Allah knows everything. What will happen, what has happened, and what is happening. Allah has full knowledge of everything. That is one thing. That is one level of belief in Qadr. علم ما كان وما يكون وكيف يكون بعلمه الأزلي الأبدي. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has the knowledge of what was, what will be. That is علم ما كان. ما كان is what was. When you say كان من المشركين, it was amongst the. Kana is what, isn't it what has happened? ilmu ma kana, Allah has knowledge of what was, wa ma yakunu, and what will be. Ma kana wa ma yakun, wa kayfa yakun, and how what will be will be. You don't know how what will be, but Allah knows what will be and how what will be will be. Isn't it? That you're going to be successful tomorrow. Yes, only Allah knows. But how are you going to be successful? Only Allah knows. In fact, some scholars said, وَمَا لَمْ يَكُنْ كَيْفَ يَكُنْ كَيْفَ كَانَ يَكُنْ. And that which did not happen, if it was to happen, Allah knows how it will have happened. So what you wanted that you didn't get, you wanted to graduate with first class, but you graduated with not with first class. If you were to graduate with first class, Allah knows what would have happened if He had given you first class. But now that you didn't get first class, Allah knows what will happen that you didn't even get the first class now. Do you understand? Divine knowledge. Can you comprehend it? No. Am I communicating? Al-ilm. يكون بعلمه الأزلي الأبدي. Eternal knowledge. Its knowledge is eternal. It does not begin in no end. فلا يتجدد. I wish some of you will be putting the harakat on top. فلا يتجدد, so that فلا يتجدد لو علم بعد جهل. فلا يتجدد. You know, tajaddad, when they say someone is mutajaddid, a revivalist, isn't it? So فلا يتجدد. Allah does not acquire new knowledge after being ignorant. Today we are acquiring new knowledge because before we were ignorant of the new knowledge we are acquiring. I would have shared one knowledge that I acquired today. If not, that we will cause more confusion and empower some people. But we don't hide knowledge, isn't it? But that knowledge, even that knowledge is a strange knowledge even amongst the scholars. But you have Imam al-Thawri and Ibn Jarir in the Tabari. They are of the opinion that a woman can lead mutlaqan, she can be imam, whether it is for men and women. This knowledge I learned it today during my studies with my sheikh this afternoon. They have this opinion, even though the opinion is shadh. When they say opinion is shadh, that is, it has contravened the opinion of people that are more trustworthy or the majority opinion. But they have this opinion that a woman can lead anyone in prayer, whether he's a man or a woman. So I didn't have this knowledge before, isn't it? Now I'm having it while I was ignorant of it before. That is not the case with Allah. Allah has never been ignorant of anything. So Allah knows everything. You will understand why we are discussing this, because it is a weapon against the Jabariya, against the Jahmiya, against the Qadariya, afwan, that say Allah does not know certain things until they happen. So that Allah is not aware of certain things until they happen. Then Allah became aware of them. Even the Shiites, you know, when Allah praised the companions of, look at how we are discussing the issue of Qadarin. You can see how it's touching a lot of things. When Allah said, radiyallahu anhum wa radu anhu, wa radu an. When Allah said Allah is pleased with them and they are pleased with him. Who are those? Who are those? The companions. Now the Shiites, because they say the companions have become renegades. How then can they reconcile with this verse that Allah said He is pleased with them? Now that they say the companions have become kuffar, except for a few, about 5 of them that remain. Every other one, every other, this English, everyone, you know, it's always a confusion. Allah is not going to ask me about it on Yawm al-Qiyamah. They say every one of them became a kafir except for a few. Now they went back to this verse and now they gave Allah an attribute that is not befitting to Allah. that Allah regrets. Before Allah said he's pleased with them, but he didn't know that they were going to betray the messenger. Look at it. Look at how this issue of qadr is very important. So we're laying the foundation. You have to believe in divine knowledge. And this divine knowledge means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala neither acquires new knowledge after being ignorant. That is it. وَلَا يُلَحِقُهُ نِسْيَانٍ بَعْدَ إِلْمٍ. Neither does forgetfulness affect Allah after he has known. When he knows. You know, we forget things, isn't it? You know someone's you know someone's details, but you forget, and you please, what's that your name again? You had knowledge of it before, but now you have forgotten. That is why you are called insan. Man, because you forget. Jinn, because you don't see him. So in Arabic, jimun wa noon, if you see the combination of this jimun and noon, it always boils back to something that you don't see. Janine, what is in the womb? The fetus. You don't see it. So it's called janine. Jinn. Jannah, you have not seen it. Am I communicating? No. So do you understand that Allah does not forget? And Allah does not acquire new knowledge? Allah knows everything, because his knowledge is eternal. That is first thing. Al-martabatu thaniya, the second level. Al-kitaba. That is what? Recording. Al-kitaba, that is the second thing. Al-kitaba, recording. فَنُؤْمِنُ بِأَنَّ اللَّهَ تَعَالَى كَتَبَ. That is in past tense. Kataba, in past tense. Okay. Karatun kuna changu. Naam. فَنُؤْمِنُ بِأَنَّ اللَّهَ تَعَالَى كَتَبَ فِي اللَّوْحِ الْمَحْفُوظِ مَا هُوَ كَائِنٌ إِلَى يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ. This is second level. If you like, you can call it the pillars of belief in Qadr. Am I communicating? So for nu'minu, we believe bi anna Allah ta'ala, that verily Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kataba fi lawh al-mahfuz. Allah has written, Allah wrote, that is why kataba, Allah wrote in the preserved tablet. That is Allah al-mahfuz. That is in the preserved tablet, all that is to be until the day of Qiyamah. Everything that will happen, it has been written already. All that will happen. Didn't you see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, that is the reference Sheikh is giving us here. Allah says, Alam ta'alam anna Allah ya'alamu ma fi as-sama'i wal ard, inna dhalika fi kitabin, inna dhalika ala Allah yasir. That is the evidence. Quran chapter 22 verse 70, Surah Al-Hajj. Do you not know that indeed Allah knows whatever is in the heavens, wal ard, and the earth? Inna dhalika fi kitabin. Indeed, this is in a book. This is in a book. Inna dhalika ala Allah yasir. Indeed, this is an easy matter for Allah. What is an easy matter for Allah? What is an easy matter for Allah? Ilmuhu li jami'i dhalik. The knowledge of Allah. It is an easy matter that Allah has knowledge of everything. It is not daunting. Allah has knowledge of everything. That is ilmuhu li jami'i dhalik. Kitab huna Allahul mahfuz. Everything has been written. Am I communicating? Al-martabatu thalitha. Let us finish the maratib, then we can call it a day. Al-martabatu thalitha, the third level. Al-mashi'a. Al-mashi'a. I hope you are connecting each one. Al-ilm. So whatever is happening in your life, know that there are 4 things that you need to believe regarding this. Divine knowledge. And there is hikmah in that divine knowledge, which we have discussed. Al-kitaba, it has been written. You wouldn't have abated it. And now the third one is al-mashi'a. What is al-mashi'a? Al-mashi'a is what? Will. Divine will. فَنُؤْمِنُ we believe بِأَنَّ اللَّهَ تَعَالَى قَدْ شَاءَ كُلَّ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. We believe that Allah the Exalted wills whatever is in the heavens and the earth. Allah is the one that wills everything that is in the heavens and the earth. أَلَيْسَ كَذَلِكَ لَا يَكُونُ شَيْءٍ إِلَّا بِمَشِيئَتِهِ. Nothing will happen, nothing occurs except by His will. Am I communicating? Nothing occurs except by His will. مَا شَاءَ اللَّهُ كَانَ وَمَا لَمْ يَشَاء لَمْ يَكُنْ. I want you to memorize this before we leave this class now. Repeat after me. مَا شَاءَ اللَّهُ كَانَ وَمَا لَمْ يَشَاء وَمَا لَمْ يَشَاء لَمْ يَكُنْ. It is in your book, but memorize it. مَا شَاءَ اللَّهُ كَانَ وَمَا لَمْ يَشَاء لَمْ يَكُنْ. Whatever Allah wills happens. Whatever Allah does not will does not happen. مَا شَاءَ اللَّهُ كَانَ وَمَا لَمْ يَشَاء لَمْ يَكُنْ. Whatever Allah wills happens. Whatever He does not will does not occur. Whatever drama you will do in front of anyone, it is that which Allah has willed that will happen, isn't it? It will not change the divine will. I hope I'm communicating. I hope you're understanding my message here. Masha Allahu kan wa ma lam yasha lam yakun. You should have this in your brain and it is going to resonate. It's going to make your life easier. Masha Allahu kan wa ma lam yasha lam yakun. This should be your new national anthem. Masha Allahu kana wa ma lam yasha lam yakun. So if you strive to attain something and it happens, you say Masha Allahu kan. Whatever Allah wills occurs. Because Allah has willed this. It is not because I'm intelligent. It is not because my father has connection. It is not because I know the president. It is not because my father is the chief imam. It's not because of everything. It's not because I have first class. Masha Allahu kan. It is because Allah has willed it. That is why it has occurred. وَمَا لَمْ يَشَاء لَمْ يَكُنْ. It is not because I'm poor. It is not because I have third class. It is not because I don't know anyone in government. It is not because I'm a black man. It is not because I'm this and that. Ma lam yasha lam yakun. It is because Allah has not willed it to happen. That is why it has not happened. Your life becomes very interesting. So you will not be depressed. And you will not start pointing accusing fingers. And you will not start thinking that the old woman in your house is the one responsible for your lack of job, employment. I've read everything, fa. The question paper just came, everything disappeared. I will lie, not all one. That has affected your iman, isn't it? I hope I'm communicating. Okay, we have verses here quickly. So do you understand this? Then the fourth one now. Now I hope you are following this line of thought of mine, which is going to make life easier for us, isn't it? MashaAllah. Al-martabatu rabi'a, the fourth level, al-khalq. Creation. Creation. What do we mean by this? For nu'minu bi anna Allah ta'ala, we believe that verily Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allahu khaliqu kulli shay, wa huwa ala kulli shay'in wakil. Allah is the creator of all things from Mukachi, including what you're doing, including me pointing at you. Allah created our actions too. Kulli shay. Everything, Allah is the creator of everything. I and what I do, you and what you do, Allah is the creator. Al-Khalq, creation. So if we believe in that, so when something happens and we do something, we know Allah has predetermined it. Because Allah has created it. Allah has predetermined it. So Allah said, وَهُوَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ وَكِيلٍ, and is the guardian over all things. Allah is the one that is guarding us. To Him belong the keys to the heavens and the earth. Maqalid. Maqalid bima'na mafatih. You know what is miftah? Miftah is key. Maqalid is also mafatih. It means keys. Maqalid bima'na mafatih. I hope I'm communicating. So these are the 4 levels that we need to understand. We're going to stop here, inshallah. If Allah spares our life till next week. What is next week? What is next week? I have 7th. Okay. No, it's not 7th. It can be 7th. Yeah. Upper week. Okay, 4th. Okay. We will have class next week, inshallah. This class, even if it rains, we hold it, isn't it? Because it's not in between salah. So even if you see that it's about to rain, come with your umbrella. We will still hold our class, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept this from us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us from among the people that will have firm belief in qadar. Subhanakallah wa bihamdik, shara la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Now? 76, okay. What's that?